Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Fantasy Factor year number 2, the show that will be sure to make sure your fantasy team wins this upcoming weekend. I'm Seth Prevertil, joined alongside my pals Josh Craig, Jack Geddes, and gentlemen, it is week 5 in the NFL football season. Let's talk some fantasy football. First, though, Josh, what are you wearing? You, sir, look tremendous this evening.
I just want to say thank you, Seth. Through the run-through that we did the other last Thursday, I knew I had to step up my game because the suit was just, it wasn't there, actually. It was non-existent.
It wasn't there. It was bad.
So I had to step it up.
He's overdressed and he's making us look bad. But you know what? That's not the point of our show. We're going to start talking some football. We'll start with some quarterbacks here. Jack, who are your top quarterbacks this week in fantasy football?
Number 1, Matt Ryan. He's against Pittsburgh, and they've allowed the second most points to opposing quarterbacks, and he has one of the best receiving cores in the league with Julio Jones, Ridley, and Miguel Sano. Number 2, Cam Newton versus the Giants. Always a good pick. 3, Alex Smith. He is coming off a bye. He should be well rested. He's playing the Saints, who light it up, and it should be a long game. Expect him to get a lot of touches and throw the ball a lot. Jared Goff is my number 4. He's always a good one. And then Ryan.
4. Why is he your number 4? He should be up there toward the top, my friend.
No, he's playing the Seattle Seahawks.
Hey, man, you know what?
They're one of the best.
That team that he has around them, that he has around him, I don't know, man.
Here's what I have to say about the Rams this year. They are by far the best team I have seen in a while.
Yeah.
I don't want to say in a while because the Pats have been looking good in the past years, but they are the most well-rounded going off the offense, defense. Jared Goff is just blowing it up, and you can't blame him because he has everything around him is a weapon. I would argue, like you said, the Falcons have one of the best offensive wide receivers and whatnot, but I would argue that they have probably one of the best as well. You have Cooks, you have Cooper Kupp, all of them, and you also have Gurley. Also, and the run game is there, so it leaves it open.
Run game's there. Gurley can catch for you, score some touchdowns.
Three-headed monster.
It leaves it open. It leaves it open, so there's always a possibility that you run it, but you can throw the ball as well.
We saw Jack's picks for quarterback. Josh, who are you taking this week?
So who I'm taking, I'll also go with Cam Newton. I think he's looking great against the Giants. The Giants have allowed. Probably they're one of the worst defense, I would say. Mm-hmm. So they've allowed the most passing yards, and also I'm gonna go with Blake Bortles this week. And you can disagree with me, but they're playing the Cincinnati. Forgive me, they're playing the
Chiefs.
They're playing the Chiefs. Sorry,
Chiefs, my man.
And the Chiefs have allowed the most passing yards in the NFL thus far. So I'm thinking that he's coming with a great week this week, and. Well, that's what I got to say about that.
Well, you know what? We're going to move on to running backs. Although I don't know why you guys are keeping out Andy Dalton this week. But, that's we can talk about that a little bit more later. Jack, who do you have for running backs this week?
All right, number 1, Melvin Gordon versus the Oakland Raiders. Let me tell you, last week against the Browns, the Raiders let up 3 rushing touchdowns, 2 from Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is not the best. So Melvin Gordon coming in, he's going to have a big game. 2, Christian McCaffrey, again with the Carolina offense.
Good try the name there. It's all right. Maybe next week.
You stink. Carolina has a lot of checkdowns, so if you're in a PPR, definitely put Christian McCaffrey in your league. James Conner is always a good one. Alvin Kamara you can bet on him anyway. And TJ Yeldon against the Kansas City Chiefs defense with Fournette out, and he's a must start in my opinion.
Here's what I have to say about those picks, Jack.
Debate me.
Have you ever heard of a banana, Jack?
I have.
What you just did is like calling these running backs yellow, like a banana is yellow, Jack. It is obvious that these people are going off this week, like they go off every single week. Who I'm going to pick is actually going to help you. Let's go with Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones this week. So most people can tell that the Green Bay Packers haven't been doing so hot. So what I'm going with is. Aaron Jones is coming off of his suspension. He came in last week and did a great job. They gave the starting position to Jamal Williams, and he was not proving himself. So I think that he's going to be getting the most attempts coming up in this. And Ty Montgomery is always, he's not getting any attempts whatsoever. So I think Jones is going to be going, and also their wide receivers aren't looking so great as well. So I think their main, what they're going to be running the ball through is Aaron Jones this week. I think he's going to be getting the most touches.
Respectable call.
That's a quality pick right there. But, we're going to move on to wide receiver here. And I was looking at your picks earlier, and I want to just point out, I did not see Antonio Brown on that list at all.
I don't think he's...
We're talking about a man who,
this year.
So far he hasn't had the greatest of seasons so far.
how
But
can
the
you trust
Falcons
him
have
right
allowed 9 passing touchdowns this year, and the 8th most passing yards in the NFL. And you guys are counting out Antonio Brown? Have we forgotten who this man is?
Yes.
One of the best receivers in the NFL.
Have you seen
he is bound
this
to go
season?
off against this.
Have you seen
this
this season? There's a reason to forget about him. There is a reason
Are
to.
you going to sit there, Jack? Are you going to sit there and look at that camera and tell them that Antonio Brown is not worth starting this week?
Right here. Antonio Brown is not worth starting this week.
All right, guys, let me just cut you off there. What I got to say about Antonio Brown is I think he's doing a great job. The only thing that he's not doing is getting touchdowns. So what we're seeing right now is Juju.
Yeah, but this is against a team who's given up 9 touchdowns. This is his week, man. They're at home, Heinz Field. This is the time for Antonio Brown to shine.
He's got so much competition around him.
And
James Conner, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Good thing you can speak. Jack.
I can't.
You know what? It's okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I do like Antonio Brown for this matchup, but who I like even more is Juju Smith-Schuster for this coming up matchup. So I'm probably gonna put him the tier above Antonio Brown just for this week. But I do like both of them going into this weekend.
So Jack, you were pretty set on not starting Antonio Brown this week.
Yes.
Who would you have start over him?
Obviously Julio Jones.
Julio Jones.
He's gonna get his first touchdown of the season.
Hold on. Your argument to me was that Antonio Brown's not scoring any touchdowns. I mean, from my calculations, he's got a couple more touchdowns than Julio Jones.
All right, Calvin Ridley's got all of Atlanta's touchdowns. So he's not going to do his hot this week. You bet me right here. So they're going to go to Julio Jones.
You know what? I mean, that's a core right there. He could go either way. I'm not sure.
Exactly.
I'm not sure if I want Julio at the top though, with Calvin Ridley there as an option as well.
All right, I'm going to bring somebody into the debate right now. Tyler Boyd. I've seen a lot of progression from him in the recent. Jack, don't look at me like that. He's playing arguably the worst defense in the whole entire league, the Miami defense, and he's getting most of the throws. And AJ Green has been getting a lot of touchdowns as well. I think they're both going to be moving on to this weekend, looking positive. But Tyler Boyd, I think he's one of my biggest booms for this week. I think he's going to be doing really great against the Miami defense.
All right, good luck with that pick.
Guys, we do have just under a minute left here, so just give me briefly, who's your top tight end for this week?
Jared Cook. He did great against the Browns. I know that hurts because I'm a Browns fan, but
Browns fan. No wonder why your picks are bad.
They're not bad.
I'm a Browns fan all
You're
these
just
years.
not good.
All right, I'm going to go with Jimmy Graham this week. They're playing the Detroit Lions. They're giving up one of them. They're also one of the debatably giving up the most passing yards. So Jimmy Graham this week for me.
Well, guys. Some pretty interesting picks on both your ends here, but we definitely have a lot more fantasy football coming up after the break for you. Some waiver wire picks, and Jack and Josh are going to be doing a little more debating. We'll be right back.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Is How Are You Precious okay?
Take out the precious. Way too cheesy.
Okay, yeah.
Just go,
sure.
hey, how are you?
Nope.
How's your day?
Yeah.
Don't be cheesy.
Yeah, I figured.
what'd she say?
She's still typing. I'm not sure. She never takes this long.
I wouldn't worry about it. Give it a few minutes.
Okay.
Factor episode 1 of this season. We're going to get right back into it. We'll tell you which players we think are due for a big week. Jack, we'll start with you.
All right, Joe Mixon, but only if he plays. He's kind of questionable right now, but every game he's played in has been great. And I think this week, if he plays, of course, because he's got a little injury bug right now, but he came off of surgery, but he's scheduled to play, he will be good. So start him if he plays, but watch for the injury.
He definitely can get you some fantasy value right there.
Especially in PPR, because he's quite the pass catcher out of the backfield.
All right, who I'm going to go with for running backs this week is Carlos Hyde. I know he's playing the Ravens defense, but in my opinion, I think Carlos Hyde is one of the, I don't want to say he's the best running back in the league right now, but he's showing so much potential. You guys can
certainly
argue.
He's not the best running back in the league.
Certainly not the best running back, but he shows so much potential in my opinion. And they're still like half and half with like who's splitting the balls. You got like Duke Johnson, we got Nick Chubbs, but no, I'm still giving it to Carlos Hyde on this one. I think he's going to have a great week against the Ravens.
Carlos Hyde is starting to become the guy there in Cleveland. You are our lone Browns fan, most likely in the room. Or
okay,
in
that's
the campus
acceptable.
Center at this particular time.
In Oswego?
Most likely, yes.
Yes.
I do not pity you, sir.
Probably in the world.
After watching Nick Chubb have those 2 rushes, I'm going to call for Nick Chubb to get more carries. And he probably will after seeing what he did against the Oakland Raiders.
You're going with Nick Chubb this week?
No, I'm just saying in general, you shouldn't bet too hard with Carlos Hyde because Nick Chubb is looking really good. And then you got Duke Johnson still fighting for carries, and he's not a bad player. He just has been ahead.
Oh yeah, no, he's great. He's been doing great things for my fantasy team.
I'm sorry I told you to start him.
I didn't start
I'm sorry.
him. I did not take your advice because, you know, if you get me at the analyst panel, you, sir, are not going to be winning that debate.
Oh my God.
Josh, we'll go with you.
All right.
What do you got next?
Let's go with Keelan Cole this week. I know I've been chanting about this guy for a while now, but we have the Jags in Kansas City this week, and Kansas City is arguably one of the worst passing defenses of all time. They're trash. You can just watch people pass the ball through them. And I think Keelan Cole, he's shown so much great potential in the past weeks. So I think Blake Bortles is really going to be able to get the ball to him, and I think they're going to make some great plays this week. I'm going to give them probably like plus 20 points.
Are you saying that defense is ghosts?
They're ghosts. You could run right through them.
Right through
them?
Not
run through them.
You're basically saying you might as well not even have anyone on the field.
They are 4-0, so I'm not knocking their team. I just think their offense is amazing. I think their offense is absolutely amazing.
Kind of reminds you of the 2016 Dallas Cowboys. That offense was pretty amazing. Defense not
so hot.
Not good. Simple as that.
Not good. Jack?
All right, let me tell you. Get this guy off your waiver wire right now. Kiki Kuti. I know the name sounds a little funny, but Kiki Kuti.
All over Kuti this week, man.
I have. That's weird. No. So he's coming off of an injury for the first 3 weeks, and he made his NFL debut last week. 21 points in that game. He was Deshaun Watson's go-to target. He's their slot receiver, and going forward, Deshaun Watson's going to have an easy place to pass with Kiki Kuti in there. And he's only owned in 12% of the leagues. So if he's in your league, you pick him up and you hold on to him. He might not have the best game this week.
Facing the Cowboys, one of the best franchises of all time, might I
add. No. May not have a good game this week, but maybe in the upcoming weeks, keep him.
You know, it's not a bad pick there. I mean, you're talking about a guy, 11 catches, 109 yards. They could have a good three-headed monster there in Houston with Hopkins, Fuller, and Kuti.
Kiki Kuti.
So, I mean, if Fuller goes down with any time due to injury, that might be your guy right there. So
even without,
I know
Fuller
I gave you a lot of
flack.
A lot of flack this week for your pick.
This is all I'm going to say about Kiki Kuti. Will Fuller, you obviously have Will Fuller on the team, so if he is if he's not injured, I would say just keep him on your bench. But if Will Fuller does become injured, you also have Hopkins. So, I mean, like, if they're both healthy, he's not a must start at all. Because these guys are definitely going to get the ball over him.
I disagree.
In my opinion.
I disagree.
In the game the other day, you saw him getting more targets when Fuller went out. So because Will Fuller the ball runs through Fuller and Hopkins in that offense.
Hopkins and Fuller are both deep threats. Hopkins, yes, he catches more so when he's in the slot as well. But Kiki Kuti is specifically a slot wide receiver. And with Deshaun Watson, he's going to get a lot of quick passes. So if you're in a PPR league, he's a must start. But if you're not, you might want to be have a little leeway with him.
All right, guys, so we got just under a minute left before the break here. But even the best players have some down days. Here are some of the picks for the biggest busts to watch out for this week. Jack, we'll start with you.
Say goodbye to Kenyon Drake. This man is not good.
He's
got 5 points in 2 weeks. I have him on my team. I'm not happy. I start him.
I'll be honest, I'm pretty angry as well.
Yes. How can you be not doing good with the Dolphins 3-1? They have good weapons. Kenny Stills. But you're just like, no, I'm going to give it to Frank Gore, the oldie.
Josh, 20 seconds we got here. Go.
Hey, that's all right. Let's go with, I'm going to have to go with Jared Goff. Jared Goff would probably be my biggest bust for the week.
All right, so that's all we got now. We will be right back after the break. You're watching Fantasy Factor on WTOP 10.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Hi there. You might wonder what a famous Hollywood celebrity like me is doing reading in the dark. Is this some new sort of Hollywood method acting? No. This is quite real.
Did you know that Americans use about 4 times as much energy per year as the global average? We waste energy left and right despite the fact that the dirty fossil fuels we use to power our energy sources wreak havoc on the natural world and destroys valuable wildlife habitats.
By reading with my solar-powered night vision goggles, I'm saving energy and looking sleek.
You don't have to sit in the dark like Ed Begley Jr. to save the world. Fight climate change by speaking up for cleaner, smarter energy, including rooftop solar.
Oh, that's way better. Oh.
Do your part and find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.
And welcome back to Fantasy Factor. Here we will have 2 equally projected players. Jack and Josh are going to debate who to start and who to sit. Fellas, let's begin. Jack, we'll start with you.
So the first one's Matt Stafford versus Deshaun Watson. I'm going to go Matt Stafford. He's got a strong arm. He throws it downfield a lot. And with the Lions offense, I just like it. It's a good pick.
All right, so I'm going to have to argue exactly the opposite. We have Deshaun Watson. He's an amazing quarterback. Like we introduced before the break was Kiki Kuti. He's getting introduced to the offense. We also have Hopkins, Will Fuller, all these weapons that he has to throw to. So I think he's going to be doing really well against this Cowboys defense. It's sad to say, but I think they're going to do really well against the Cowboys.
He's your guy, man. You just defended this man before we went to break.
I'm defending Kuti. I'm not defending Watson.
Okay, anyway, we'll move on to the next one. We have Cam Newton versus Jared Goff. Josh, we'll start with you.
All right, so I'm going to have to go with Cam Newton on this one, only because I think Jared Goff is going to be suffering. Oh, I don't want to say he's going to be suffering because he's Jared Goff, and he has on the Rams, which is the best team, I would argue, in the whole NFL right now. But I think Jared Goff, Cam Newton has got this one for this week because he's going against the Giants defense. Like, you got to take him against the Giants defense.
You just said the Rams have the best offense. Why not start the best quarterback with the best offense?
I mean, they're playing the Seahawks, Jack. So that
Seahawks
alone,
defense, they're good.
They're not good.
No, but they're not as good as they once were. Not by a long shot. Next we got Brandon Cooks and Connor Cup. Start with you, Jack.
All right. I mean, I'm gonna take the middle road. Connor Cup in PPR, Brandon Cooks if not in PPR.
Let me correct you right there. It's Cooper Cup, boys. And let me go with this.
Who wrote that in a prompter? Jack.
So what I see in this is I got Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is getting the most attention on that offense, so Brandon Cooks is the obvious pick for me.
All right, fellas. Next, we got Amari Cooper and Kenny Stills. Josh, we'll go right back to you.
All right, so Kenny Stills and Amari Cooper. I haven't liked what I've been seeing with Amari Cooper, so Kenny Stills is probably my go-to on this one. They are playing the Bengals this week, and the Bengals haven't been the best defense for passing yards so far, so I think Kenny Stills will probably get the I think he'll be doing pretty well this week.
All right, I'm going to go Amari Cooper. He's got to come off one of these games, all right?
You can't base everything off that, Jack.
I'm sorry. He's a good receiver. He just hasn't had the proper looks this season. And I think he's going to get him against the team he's playing.
Next, we have Kareem Hunt and Dion Lewis. Jack.
I don't like Dion Lewis. As simple as that. He's, with the Titans' offense, he just doesn't fit. You got to go Kareem Hunt if you're going one of these two players.
I will have to agree with you on that. Even though they are playing the Jags defense, which is one of the best defenses, I would have to go with Kareem Hunt. He's just an amazing running back, and I think he's going to be a threat.
Yeah, no, out of this is not even a debate. I don't even know.
Like, threat in this one.
What were you thinking?
They're equally projected.
They're equally projected, but look at the. I mean, the talent doesn't lie.
I mean, Dion Lewis gets a lot of catches. That's a lot of points in PPR.
But Kareem Hunt is a leaps and bounds far better.
But he's playing the Jags.
You know what?
I'm going Dion Lewis.
I know.
You convinced me to go the other way.
No. Okay, boys. Let me bring one to your attention. How about Smith-Schuster versus Brown? Who do you guys got on that one?
Never Brown. Simple as that.
What's wrong with you? No,
he's not.
You are a Browns fan. You are brainwashed. I don't know. You've been going through years and years of suffering, and it's just suddenly gotten to your head, man. What are you thinking?
All right, well, why?
Antonio Brown is not good. Don't attack me like that.
Yo, boys, please.
Come on.
Why are we going with Brown and why are we going with Smith-Schuster? Are you going with Smith-Schuster this week?
Absolutely.
All right, why are you going with Smith-Schuster?
The Browns, dude. You are a Browns fan.
Look at the season. Smith-Schuster's had a better season.
The season's been 4 weeks. It's been 4 weeks. Look at the numbers.
I will give it to you. I will give it to you.
The best season.
I will give it to you. Smith-Schuster has been getting targeted more in the touchdown red zone area, I should say. But Antonio Brown is looking pretty good this week. He has been getting the most attention on the offense, I would say. He's getting the ball thrown to him the most. But it seems let's go Juju. It's easier to say. Juju.
Smith-Schuster.
He's been able to run with the ball. He's been able to run with the ball the most. He's been getting the most yards. So they are pretty even for this matchup coming up. But I'm gonna have to go with Smith-Schuster because I just like him more.
You know, and I can understand, but just the hatred you have.
I don't have hatred.
Antonio Brown. We're talking about an elite receiver. I'm not going to keep going on this because it's just going to get me mad. But
get mad.
You know, I mean, I understand you're a little salty as a Browns fan.
It's not hatred. It's the fact that he hasn't performed well this season.
All right, boys. Let's talk about something really quick before the break.
We got about 20 seconds.
We got Mark Ingram and we have
15.
Kamara. How do you think Ingram's going to be coming into this?
Ingram, I mean, it's going to be tough with that backfield there. We can get a little bit more into that after the break. Kamara's still the guy there. But we have a little bit more for you after the break. WTOP 10.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No, but you've got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
good to see you guys.
So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
And welcome back to Fantasy Factor. For those of you in a survival pool, we'll give you the breakdown of who will win the upcoming week slate. First, we'll go with the Jags at the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh.
All right, so I am liking the Jags in this one right now, just for the mere reason that they are the Jags going against the Kansas City.
They got a great defense.
I'm
It's
not
not a bad pick.
Yeah, the defense is super good. You don't test them.
You're gonna go
you
with
don't
the Jags
test
too.
Jalen
You guys
Ramsey.
are both going against undefeated right now.
Yes.
All right. Next, we got the Packers at the Lions. Jack, we'll start with you.
Packers, easy. Are you gonna not trust Aaron Rodgers? It's Aaron Rodgers. Packers.
I am liking the matchup here today, but I'm gonna have to go with the Packers on this one, just because the Packers are looking good going into this week.
We'll go with the Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens. Jack, I know you have a lot to say about this.
Cleveland's gonna win. They're gonna get their second win.
You're like a kid at Toys R Us.
They physically could have won.
It doesn't exist.
Last week,
Toys R Us for you kids out there is a store that used to have toys for everyone.
Thank
for
you,
us, I'm gonna have to go with the Ravens this week, just because they're facing the Browns.
I wasn't done. I have a gripe
You're cut off,
about
Jack.
the last game.
You're cut off, Jack.
Jack,
They lost solely because of the officials.
we're on a time schedule here.
I
We're
don't
gonna move
care.
on
I have
to the
some-
Giants at the Carolina Panthers. Josh.
I'm going to go with the Panthers this week, just because they're home, their team's looking great. The Giants haven't been looking good so far, so going to have to go with Panthers on this one.
I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, my God. Jack, we moved on.
No. I'm a Browns fan. I don't
All right,
move on.
how about Giants versus Panthers, Jack? How about that?
Yeah, let's hear your pick
Giants,
for that, Jack.
easily. Giants.
Okay, cool. We'll move on to the Dolphins at the Bengals. Josh.
I am liking I'm actually liking the Dolphins on this one, for the mere reason that the Dolphins have been looking fantastic so far. They're just doing amazing. I think they're going to tear up the Bengals defense as an offense. So going to Dolphins.
Bengals, easy. You don't trust. Bengals. Joe Mixon, Andy Dalton, Bengals.
All right, and lastly, we have the Battle of Texas, the Dallas Cowboys against the Houston Texans.
Two Cowboys fans
Mr.
over
Cowboy
here.
fan, we'll start with you.
All right, so I am a Cowboys fan, and it is looking good for them on this upcoming matchup, because the Texans, they're going to run right through the Texans, and that is not biased whatsoever. Not biased whatsoever.
Yeah, have good luck running through J.J. Watt.
They're going to gallop into Houston on a running back named
J.J.
Zeke.
Watt.
Fellas, it's going to be an interesting week for the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston
Cleveland
Texans.
Browns.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us this week. Fantasy Factor here on